everyone, welcome to another episode of KimTV. I am your social media strategist and also the creator of Zilch2 Social. And in this video, I want to talk about how I deal with haters. So if you've had any negative feedback come your way lately, or if you had any haters, this is how I deal with it, and I hope that you find it helpful. So if you're even just a little bit curious, make sure to stick around. All right, so this whole topic about haters is something that I decided I wanted to share with you. And although it's not super closely related to social media marketing, I think it's important for online business owners and business owners of any kind to really learn how to manage haters and how to understand the difference between negative feedback and someone who's just hating because they're gonna hate. So as many of you know, a couple weeks ago, we opened up the doors to Zilch2 Social publicly for the first time ever, and it was my first ever big launch. And so, of course, you know, when you are promoting a product or a program, you obviously want to lead in with lots of value, but there's also a lot of promotion involved. So there's a lot more emails than I usually send out. There were Facebook ads and social media posts and lots of different promotions on the website. So of course, this is the time where all of the haters come out of the woodwork and just, you know, kind of start talking about their feelings. And so for me, at least, you know, I've gotten quite a few haters over the years, which is, I think it's completely normal and something that's even positive, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. But I do wanna tell you a little bit more about my haters and how I decide to deal with them. But before we get into all of that, I do wanna make sure that you understand a very clear distinction between having, you know, negative feedback or receiving negative feedback, even if it's laced with anger, resentment, if people yell at you, you gotta understand that there's a really big difference between negative feedback and haters. And so at least how I interpret it is as follows. If I'm receiving negative feedback from a customer or a client, I pay even more attention to that than I would, you know, my Facebook fans or my subscribers, just because these are people who have paid for my services, right? They should be my ideal client, and usually I can get a lot of great information from their feedback. And so when you start understanding the difference between negative feedback and just having haters, a whole different world is opened up for you. So let me give you an example of negative feedback versus a hater. A couple of months ago, I actually decided that I was going to create a content calendar template. It's called the Ultimate Content Calendar Template because you guys were asking for something like that. And I knew that it was going to be something that people would love to use, that it was going to be actionable and practical. So I created it and I launched it, and the first iteration did really well. It was super popular. I was going viral on Pinterest, and for the first time ever, which is really exciting. And there was a ton of people that were downloading it, and I was getting really good feedback, which was awesome. But this one person sent me an email and she was really angry. She was like, "This is the worst freebie lead magnet I've ever gotten. As a standalone, this has no value, and I'm really disappointed with it." And then she actually, you know, like had like three spaces down the email, and at the end she was like, "By the way, I think you should create a video to go with this lead magnet, explaining how to use it because I don't know what to do with it." And so at first, of course, like anyone else, you know, I was like, why is she emailing me? Like, this is ridiculous. This thing is free and you're gonna complain about it for real? But then I, you know, calmed down and I was like, hold on. This is a great idea. I should, you know, have a video that explains how to use this lead magnet. And so once I did that and I took her negative feedback, and, you know, turned it into something positive, I created the video, and I, you know, started getting a ton more people sending me emails and thanking me for it and sharing it with their friends, which is the most important part. They would tag people on my Facebook posts and talk about the video and stuff like that. So I was like, wow, this is amazing. And so you got to understand that a lot of times, when the feedback is coming from your subscribers, from your clients, from your customers, and you can turn that feedback into something that you can learn from and improve on, that is gold. That feedback, even if it's angry, even if it's negative, even if it's not constructive, you have to take that feedback and use it to make your products, programs, or services better. Now, I'm not saying you're not gonna have a negative reaction, right? Like, we all get angry and upset when someone just makes some kind of ridiculous claim or gives us negative feedback, or is just angry about maybe how often you're emailing them, or about a specific process in, your onboarding style. So when you have a new client, how you onboard them. So there's different strokes for different folks, but I do think it's important that you understand that difference. And so when you have a hater, this person is pointing out things that are completely irrelevant to your business, okay? They're talking about your sex orientation, they're talking about how your hair is messy, they might talk about how you're emailing them too often, which could be, negative feedback that you need to kind of, definitely think about, but it all depends on the context. So I'll give you an example. When I was creating my launch, I had a pre-onboarding sequence for my free workshops, right? There's 3 emails that were sent in about a 7-day period. And so those 3 emails were giving even more value and just encouraging people to show up live to the webinar or the workshop. And so I got a ton of feedback about the words that I was using in the email copy. So the words were things like pumped and stoked. I was telling people, look, I'm so stoked about this webinar. I'm pumped that you've decided to join me. I'm so excited. And I started getting some emails with people being completely insulted about how unprofessional I was in my email copy by using the word dude or using the word pumped or stoked. And so they really didn't have complaints about the content. They didn't have complaints about the format. They didn't have complaints about the frequency. They're just upset that I was using specific words. And so I was accused of being, not genuine and not authentic. And I was like, what? Like, are you serious right now? What was interesting was also the fact that I also received from the same emails tons and tons more responses of people super excited about the email copy, telling me how fun it was, that the only reason they opened up my emails was because they loved how I spoke in, colloquial words, and that I was being myself and transparent, and they loved that. And it was really interesting because for the first time ever, I realized that the same things that turn people on in my business are the same things that turn people off. And so I can't be afraid of being myself and being authentic and talking to people like I do in real life, right? On my emails, and not being super polished and not being afraid to be unprofessional by using words like dude and stoked and pumped and it's awesome. So it's one of the things that I want you to take away from this video is know that haters are going to hate no matter what. And those people do not matter to your brand because they're not going to buy from you anyway. All of the people that responded, to that sequence about the workshop or the webinar, they had 0 complaints about the content. They weren't upset because I was emailing them too often. They were upset because I was being unprofessional, according to them. And so here's the thing. This is who I am. It's my brand, it's my business, and I make the rules. I decide how I want to speak to my audience. And the reason why I wanted to be even more myself in my email copy was because I knew that I was spending a lot of time, I was really investing in reaching my ideal client, and I was so clear on who that person was. I knew that if I spoke to her in a way that she could relate, that it was going to be a huge success. And that's exactly what happened. I repelled all of the people who do not matter to my brand anyway, who were upset about me, being unprofessional or whatnot. And then I completely just wowed the people who ended up buying from me because they were my ideal client. And if they didn't buy from me, they became even bigger fans, which was awesome. That was the whole point of that email copy. So I struggle a lot sometimes with being myself and being more myself. And sometimes I'm afraid about, well, is this a little bit too much? Am I, acting a fool? Am I, being authentic? And this experience really helped me, it really pushed me forward to say, oh my gosh, like, I don't have to worry about this stuff. Haters are gonna hate no matter what. And then the people who are my tribe, the people who I love, the people who I wanna serve, they're gonna get it. They're gonna be extremely excited about it. And that's exactly what happened. And so I want you to understand that whenever you get haters, you cannot be frustrated, discouraged, or disappointed because of their stupid comments, okay? Like, I've been accused on YouTube and Facebook and, my email subscribers of all kinds of stupid, crazy things. Like, for example, throwing Masonic symbols on my YouTube videos. Can you believe that? That's ridiculous. I'm Latina, okay? I talk with my hands. It's what we do. I'm not throwing Masonic hand symbols. And if you knew me, you knew I'm Christian and I'm super faith-based. And so, things like that are just ridiculous and completely besides the point. There's people who are just going to nitpick for the sake of doing it, and you just gotta turn them off, okay? Just completely turn them off. Unsubscribe them. Ban them from your Facebook page. Remove them from your YouTube channel. Get them out of your world, okay? Because this is your business. It's your blog, it's your Facebook page, it's your YouTube channel, it's your podcast, it's your show, and you make the rules. And if they don't like it, they can just get out the car, like Chalene Johnson says, right? Just leave, because there's so much other content out there that maybe resonates with them better. Don't take it personally. I know it's gonna hurt sometimes because people are just really insensitive online, and everybody can speak their mind when they're behind the computer, but when it's in person, it's a whole different story. So don't even worry about it. Most of the time, the people who are going to be your haters and are gonna criticize you are people who are really not doing anything in the world. They're not living their purpose, and your success is a negative reflection upon themselves, okay? So do not even give them any energy. Don't focus on their negativity. Just ignore them and unsubscribe them, move on, don't let it bother you. Take negative feedback and use it to make your business better. And then haters are just gonna hate. And so you just gotta ignore them. You gotta remove them from your life. You gotta remove them from your business and keep moving forward. And I wanna leave you with this, and this is gonna be something that might sound a little bit counterintuitive and you might have some resistance to it, but it's this. Take haters and take that negative feedback or that criticism as validation that you're getting yourself out there in the world in big ways. And what I mean by that is simple. Over the course of my business, I haven't been in business very long. I've been in business for almost 3 years now. And throughout that time, I've noticed that the times when I'm really reaching my ideal clients, when I'm, getting out of my comfort zone and doing big things with my brand, or, kind of pushing the needle and pushing forward in my business, are the times I get the most amount of criticism, the most amount of hate. And at first, when I was first starting out, it would drive me crazy, and I was like, what am I doing wrong? It would disappoint me, I would get frustrated. Sometimes I would cry, which was like total drama. But now, I actually was just talking to my husband and telling him, oh my gosh, whenever I actually do something awesome, when I'm moving my business forward, I get so much criticism, and now I'm taking it as a validation that I'm doing the right thing. Because here's the thing, if you try to appeal to everybody, you are appealing to no one. The same things that turn your people on are gonna be the same things that turn your haters off. And so it's very important that you embrace haters, that you embrace negative feedback, that you utilize it as a tool to validate the things that you're doing in the world. Because I can tell you this, the more of an impact that you make, the bigger of a fan base that you reach, the more your business starts to grow, the more hate and criticism you're going to get. And that is just a fact. I've spoken with so many business owners and entrepreneurs who are really making huge strides in the world and really pushing their businesses forward, all of them have confirmed the same thing. The bigger their businesses get, the more people they reach, the bigger the impact they make, but also the more amount of haters, the more amount of criticism. And so you have to be okay with it. You gotta embrace it, and you gotta know that it is validation that you're doing the right thing. If you're not getting negative, I'll go on a limb and say this. This is how I feel about my business. When I'm not getting criticism, when I am not getting hate, I know that I am not pushing forward, that I'm not really doing the things that I should be doing to get out there as much as I should and push my business forward. So I hope that this has been a little bit helpful, especially if you're just starting out in business. And hopefully this mindset shift will help you really embrace haters and just understand that, you know, it's part of doing business. And if it did help you and you like the style of video where maybe I talk a little bit more about the things I'm learning in my business and it's not super connected to social media, let me know in the comments below if you like this style. I would love to create a little bit more videos for you about business in general and marketing and talking a little bit more about the things that I'm going through and learning about so that hopefully it can serve you as well. So let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for even more exciting videos. Make sure to share this with your entrepreneurial friends and come back to KimberlyAnnJimenez.com if you want to sign up for email updates and get exclusive content that I only share with my super VIP subscribers. So hop on over to KimberlyAnnJimenez.com. There's going to be a link in the description box and possibly also on this video. So go ahead and go up there and sign up for email updates. I'll see you in the next video, and thank you so much for watching.